Hello! Today we will be cheesing everybody's favorite boss in as many ways as physically possible. That's right, I'm going to show you the ways to cheese the dragon effectively. You don't need a particularly good wand for this. I am just going to do it because it makes it easier for me to showcase this. This wand is my abomination. If you're wondering how I got it, I did. Now, this is the Spell Lab mod, very useful for setting up stuff like this. The only thing I'm going to be using it for is getting the resources needed for this to work. Because just need a way to quickly travel. So, first things first, you can do this at pretty much any time in the game. I'm going to show you how to get one of the spells for the cheese. One of the best kinds of cheese. Immediate. This only works against some bosses. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. Okay. That right there, it's like directly above this area, pretty much. That's the entrance to the pyramid. You want to go up a little bit to the right of the entrance to the pyramid, and you will find this thing. Now, first you may be like, oh, what's the point of this? This is just an outhouse. Well, remove the outhouse, and something interesting will appear. Now, normally this is a 4-use spell. Touch of Gold? Question mark? And it is the most consistent way to get urine in this game. It's a funny spell. That's the best way I can say this. Now, you're going to want Long Distance Cast or any of the trigger spells, so Magic Arrow with trigger, Spark Bolt trigger, Magic Bolt trigger, or you can even use timer spells, but they're more dangerous. And the reason for that is because you want to be able to cast this away from you. Anything in that area, including monsters, will instantly be turned into urine, which is incredibly funny, but also kind of gross. It one-shots everything, including the Holy Mountain statues. It's busted. Also, Touch of Urine just has a higher area of effect than most of the other ones. Anyway, goodbye, dragon. It instantly kills him. That is cheese method number 1. Wow, that's a good wand. Now, for cheese method number 2. Alright. For cheese method number 2, you need something very, very simple. You can use Freezing Gaze, and that's one of the options. There's a couple of other ones, too. You can use Freeze Charge. It doesn't matter what projectile you put these on. Do not use Ice Ball. It will not freeze them for long enough. We're going to use Spark Bolt because it's the most simplistic one. Don't mind the Black Hole Wand. It's what I use to dig with. If we remove this from existence, you can now see the several methods of freezing this boss. You can use this to freeze him. You can use this to freeze him. Do not get hit by the dragon's head, by the way. That instantly kills you, unless you have melee immunity. Now, all you have to do is when he's frozen, kick him. And he dies instantly. Well, almost instantly. Sometimes it sets his health to 1. The reason this works is because frozen enemies take an absurd amount of melee damage, which is why there's those little freezing enemies, and then they one-shot and melee you. One-shot you by meleeing you. It's very, very funny and absolutely absurd. On to the third way, and in my opinion, the best way to cheese the dragon boss. Now, for the final of the 3 best ways to cheese the dragon, we're going to be using one of my personal favorites of all time. Now, you don't need to use large explosive boxes, you can also use the small ones, but the large ones are better because they're easier to aim with. First things first, you need to dig out a space that looks about the right size. Generally, you want to do this with explosion immunity, but if you have a teleport on you, you can use that as well to get out of the way before it's too late. And then you're just going to want to do this until you think you have about enough explosive boxes to instantly destroy this man. And this is one of the most effective ways to do it because explosive boxes are fairly common, and you get about 15 or 16 of them per spell, so you can just do this for a while. You don't need a crazy wand build for this either, because they're relatively cheap. They're only like, what, 40 mana per? And with the smaller ones, the same cost for some reason. You could try Chainsaw, but it can blow up in your face, so I would recommend not doing that. Unless you've got Explosion and Fire immunity. In which case, you can use that as a very effective weapon to shred everything. Now, I would recommend normally teleporting out of the way before doing that, but as you can tell, it does a reasonable amount of damage to the boss, and you if you don't have Explosion immunity. Now, there are a lot of good reasons to actually just cheese this man, because one, obviously it's really easy, but the better reason is because he generally drops a pretty decent wand, or at least has some decent spells on it, and if not, you can get a pretty good modifier, which is either going to be Fireball Orbit, Plasma Orbit, or LARPA Orbit, which is by far the best of the three. Those are the main best three ways to cheese the dragon. You can use any touch of spell, but the reason I would recommend using that specific one is because it's the most easily accessible in the entire game. You're guaranteed to get it to spawn in a world, unlike all of the other ones. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this stupid video about cheesing this boss, because I think it is a great idea that everybody should use, if possible. Most importantly, though, have a nice day. Bye!